Well, hello! Welcome back to my channel. Joshana here to talk about friggin' StoryGraph. I made a video a little over a year ago doing a walkthrough of the StoryGraph when it was in beta mode still. And it is no longer in beta mode, it is live, there's the whole app and everything, and I love it. I used it all through 2021, I'm going to continue using it. I've said before, I do still have my Goodreads account, but I only really use it for instances where there's maybe like a debut book, a new release that doesn't have the image uploaded yet on StoryGraph. It's a smaller team of people doing this work. So that does happen every now and then, and sometimes Goodreads will have the image. So that's really all I ever use it for. But yeah, I wanted to just kind of do a little updated walkthrough. I've seen a lot more people joining StoryGraph, and it's super easy to use and everything, but I don't know, people seemed to enjoy having the little kind of loose walkthrough tutorial last time. So I already notated on that video, I'm gonna leave the video up, but I notated that it is outdated, and I put a little pinned comment saying that it is outdated as well. Some of the stuff in that video is still the same, but there is a fair amount that is new, different, updated, etc. So let me show you now.
Okay, so number one, this is many days later that I'm recording this walkthrough portion. Apologies if I sound a bit congested. I am a bit congested, getting over being a little sick with COVID. Not sick, but just felt like I had a cold. But yeah, had a fair amount of congestion. So apologies for that. So when you first log in, once you have your account, you are on the home page here, and this is what we see, and I believe this looks pretty similar to how it did before. I'm not gonna lie, I can't quite remember what it did look like before, but here we have the recommendations, and I'll get into that in a little bit. Then we have the to-read pile for me, all the books I've added. And then over here we have our currently reading. This book has been sitting here for pushing 2 years now. It's like a literal textbook that I just kind of read little chunks of here and there. Down here is this popular this week. This is just generally on StoryGraph, books that are popular. I don't ever browse through this because I don't care. They always have little contact us down here. I wanted to point that out because it's a little form that gets sent to them, and they are really great about responding. It's a small team still. I want to say there's like a dozen or less people on the like official team. There are lots of volunteer librarians who you can sign up to be one, and then you can help with updating book listings and whatnot, and making sure books have the correct information and all of that. But as far as the developers and like the team themselves, there might still just be the one developer, the original founder of it. I cannot remember her name. Again, I will put it up on the screen here. But yeah, I do have StoryGraph Plus. I want to point that out. And one of the features of StoryGraph Plus is that your tickets do get prioritized. But I'm not kidding, like within a couple of hours, sometimes even within an hour, they respond to my ticket. So I imagine if you didn't have Plus, I mean, I don't think you're going to wait a week or anything. It might be like a day or two. They're really great about responding. So that's the home page. The other tabs at the top here, we have stats, which I'll show in a moment, but that's just like all your reading stats, the books you've read, all that fun stuff, reading challenges, and then community. And then over here, you could go to your profile, notifications, manage, preferences, all that fun stuff. So I want to show the recommendations bit first. So something to note here, I don't think it's going to do it this time because all of these, yeah, let me refresh and see if it'll populate different ones. So I want to see if it's going to do something that was like kind of what I thought was a glitch, and it was like tripping me out. So see these books previewed here: Apollo's Raven, Stolen Kingdom, Heart of Time, Dust, and then Nora Roberts' The Awakening. Okay, so we're going to go to Explore. This is exploring the recommendations. So then we have the recommendations. So there's one that we saw on the preview. There's one we saw. There's one we saw. Scroll on down. Now I'm forgetting what ones we saw. Okay, I'm down at the bottom, right? And there's a couple that we saw on that preview part that aren't here, correct? And I was like, why is this happening? Like I'm seeing these recommendations, but then when I click to explore my recommendations, they're not there. Well, it's because you may note several of these that are sitting here are marked as to read, right? So if I go up here and I just click, what are you in the mood for? And this is just filtering, right? If I do don't show me books in my to read pile or books I own, but I'm doing to read. So then I click to search and I'm just going to minimize this. So now it took out all of those books that were marked as to read for me. So now there's more showing, right? All these ones, there's that one. Dun, da, 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 all the way down. So there we go. That's one thing to note. When you mark them as to read, they still sit here. You can click the little X right here. Don't show me this book again if it's a book you don't want to see. Or you can also do the same thing for an author. If there's an author that is getting recommended to you that you absolutely do not want to read from and you don't want to keep seeing it pop up, you just click right here and it's going to take it out. So this book right here, I don't think I would want to read this. It's a nonfiction about the mysteries of medieval medicine. Could be fun, but I don't care, so I'm going to click X. And then it's saying, are you sure you don't want this to show up in your recommendations or filter searches anymore? I'm like, yep. So yeah, that's that. But yeah, the recommendations, it's based on stuff you read and like, but also your preferences here. If you click here, you can fill out this little questionnaire and you can edit your answers at any time right here. And this is the questionnaire. Your favorite genres, the books you like to read, kind of books you like to read, characteristics you appreciate the most, genres you don't like, aren't interested in, things that turn you off, never in the mood for books that are, and it looks like this. So you're just picking genres. Here it's just like putting in a list. Yeah, why am I struggling with that word? You can select up to 3 of these characteristics that you appreciate the most in books right now. And then you can also pick any genres that you don't like or aren't interested in reading right now. And then again, you select up to 3 of what turns you off the most. And then I'm never in the mood for books that are, and this you can choose as many as you want. So it's taking all of this into account and then your reading history. But yeah, that's how recommendations work. And you can always use anywhere on StoryGraph where you can like browse and search books, whether it's like just the StoryGraph books, whether it's your to read pile, your recommendations, you can always filter with all of these things. So like this, you could do show books with any of these selected moods if you select a bunch, or all. So if you want books that are both mysterious and emotional and dark, you'd click all of those and then you'd click all of the selected moods. So it's only going to show you books that have all 3 of those moods. If you do any, it's going to just show you books. Some might just have dark, some might just have mysterious, some might just have emotional, and so on and so forth. Same thing here with the genres. You can do include any, include all, you can exclude, and there you go. So something that is a feature that was not on when I first recorded my video, I think it happened like literally right after I recorded, and I might have edited and added it in, but tracking your progress on a book, you now can do that. So if you click here, you can do it as pages or %, and then you can also add little notes if you want to. So how far in are you, and a little note. These notes are private. No one, even if you have friends on StoryGraph that can see what you're reading and like what status you're at, they cannot see your notes that you put in. Stats, like I said, are right up here. You can view stats for various years and then the entire year or specific months. I think this is a plus feature where I can compare 2 time periods. Yeah, it is. So I can compare something against something else. Again, I can select specifics, or I can, whatever I want to do. just go back to the stats, though. The stats that it shows you are pretty cool. I don't necessarily use this all that much. Here's the content, so you can like skip down to stuff if you want. But yeah, so it's showing you stuff you've read and stuff you want to read. And it has all these moods, and these are all preset within StoryGraph. When you review a book, you state what you think it is, if you think it's any of these things. So that's where that information is coming from. And then the pacing, again, when you review, you put on there, I'll show what the reviews look like. Page number, fiction versus nonfiction. And when you click on it too, it'll show you the books. So these are all the books that I have read that are fiction for all time, which is most of the books I read. And then genres. And I've seen people complain about this, that young adult is listed as a genre. And I've seen StoryGraph reply on Twitter saying that they're just following publishing information currently. They're looking into, changing stuff all the time. That is something they're great about, but it's not necessarily that they've determined the genre is young adult. It's just what the publishing industry is saying and categorizing stuff as. The format, most read authors, most featured authors in my to read. Hey, Steven, what's up? God, Charlene Harris is my most read author. No. That's because that series is so long. And then number of books versus number of pages. Cute. And then star rating. Here, all the books I've read in all time. My average is 3.5. We're getting that up, though. Publication year versus read date. I don't care about any of that. Yeah, so that's the stats. So reading challenges. So they have, you can do like your reading goal for the year, set that, awesome. They have such fun little things too, and then you can always edit, and you can set up a pages goal. I don't care about that, so I have not done that. And then this is one that I created for myself, and here we can see all of the ones I've created for myself. I had my 2021 reading goals and then books to read in 2022. I wonder if I can show you. There's something kind of weird right now with reading challenges that you create. So let's look at this one. I think I can show you. Yeah, okay. So I had like wanting to reread whole series, right? And reread a couple of books. So the thing right now with the prompts is I added 6 books to this prompt, for example. The minute I reread this first book and I marked it as read in 2021, it said prompt complete. It made the whole entire prompt marked as complete because one thing was checked off on it. I did email them about that. They said that's something they're aware of, and in future iterations, they want to work out reading challenges a little bit differently. But for now, that's how it is. So that is why this year, for just kind of a general 2022 TBR, I guess, I did each book as its own prompt because I didn't want to just put all the books and then have it mark it as complete when I only read one. I didn't read, I DNF'd that, but I picked it up. Hey. Oh, goodness. And when you create a challenge, so let me show you. Oh, and you can always archive stuff with the little archive button there. To create a challenge, though, go to Browse. And this is just all public challenges. You can browse, you can join people's challenges. But to create your own, so you just go here. I'm just going to do a test one. So we do test. We're going to start it tomorrow. And we're going to end it the next day. And you can change the number for the prompts if you want, like to rearrange them or whatever. Test 1, whatever. Okay, cool. And I do not want to make it public because this one is just for me, but I do want to make it live, right? A reading challenge needs to be made live before you or anyone will be able to join it and add books to it. So you can keep it to yourself or you can share. So I'm going to make it live. So I did this with my 2022 one. I completely forgot this one part. So I'm like, okay, cool. I made it live. Awesome. Let me go now, and I'm going to add a book to it. Okay. We're going to add this book to it. So when you're viewing a book, there, the books page, scroll down here and add to reading challenges. Books to read in 2022. I don't see the challenge I want to add it to. What the heck? Well, that is because you got to join the freaking challenge. So down here we can see, and it's not showing up here, right? So we go back to this one. You have to actually click to join it. Yeah, I'm dumb. So now if we go back, now we can see the test one. And now if we go, it was a different book, but whatever, we'll click this one. Now we could add it to the test one. And then if there's more prompts, you can add it to a different prompt. We'll add it to this one. So now if we go to this test one, we can see this is the first prompt, and this is the book that I've added to that prompt that will fulfill it. So yeah, you can make a prompt like read books from Greece, and then like read one book from Greece, and then you could add a bunch of different options. You know, if you're more of a mood reader, but like you just know of a couple that like would fit the prompt, you just add them, and then once you read one of them, that prompt is complete. So yeah, it's pretty cool. And again, you can make it public, or even ones that are just live, you can share it with someone and have a friend join if you want. So yeah, it's pretty cool. There we go. You can always also look at your archived stuff, should you ever want to. But moving on to community. So something that the StoryGraph initially was saying is that when they created this, they didn't want it to necessarily be another social media platform. You know how on Goodreads you can message people, you can comment on everything they're doing, you can comment on their reviews and like discuss in the reviews, and they didn't necessarily want it to be like that. They do listen to the community though, and a lot of people did want a little bit more kind of social interaction. So if you follow people and become friends with people, you can see in your kind of community feed here what they are up to, and you can heart things, and you can see their full reviews very quickly and easily. And yeah, you can search by username or email, and then you could go over to everyone and like search for people, only show users similar to you, so you can see what people who have similar reading tastes to you are doing, and maybe find some new people to follow and kind of get recommendations from, whatever. It shows you that over here as well, similar users. And then buddy reads. So you can set up buddy reads, which is really cool. So you can start it from a book page. Also though, book suggestions. So with Plus, again, I can enter a username of someone. So I know I have Neeks as one of my friends. So if I'm like, I want to do a buddy read with Neeks, but I don't know what book, right? So I can like generate book suggestions, and machine learning is telling me these are some options for us. So, and you can refresh selection, and then you could create a buddy read based off of that. Or once again, from a book's page, if you scroll right down here, you can start a buddy read here as well. You can also always flag incorrect book information and browse personalized similar books. If you have Plus, you can do that. So yeah, I think that's pretty cool, the buddy reads feature. It's pretty neat little setup there. And they had some screenshots. I don't think I can test this out. Yeah, I won't be able to test it. I should have asked Monet or Neeks if I could bother them. Well, I am about to do one with Monet. So I'm just going to set it up and tell her later. The women of, this one. We are actually about to be buddy reading this together. So let's play around here. So you can do a description. You can invite up to 4 people to read, and then it's giving you machine learning powered reading buddy recommendations or community members who have this book on their radar. But I want to just, what the heck? I know. She's in here. Hello? There we go. Jeez. And then, yeah, you can do an optional end date. Okay, here we go. And I saw this on Twitter. They showed like screenshots of what it looks like. So they have like different percentage marks where comments get locked until you have marked your progress on the book as a certain percentage. And yeah, I just think it sounds kind of fun, kind of cool. And I think that they have said that they might at some point give the option to comment, just depending on feedback. And another thing to note too is that you can opt out of any kind of, what am I trying to say? Community aspects. So if I go to my preferences, I think that's where it is. Yeah, right here. So I can change this so only people I follow can see my reading updates, or only people I'm actually friends with. I can change who can send me a friend request. Oh, I need to... Whoops. And then who can invite you to take part in a buddy read, anybody, nobody, friends and people I follow, blah, blah, blah. So you can change it so that it is just more private. It's more just you and what you're doing, right? So this is actually now my profile. If you click here. So this is what people can see. Go away. This is my currently reading again. I can see my reading journal, my read recently, my 5-star reads, my tags, my challenges. And then over here, my books that I've marked as owned, my to-read pile, and then just some general info about my stats. So tags. I do believe, so when I imported from Goodreads, tags did not import, but I am 99.9% sure that they do now. So any custom shelves that you have in Goodreads will automatically import as tags here, is my understanding. And it works the same way. So it's essentially your custom shelves. So I have a bunch. Don't mind me. So I recently, someone shared with me an article that was books that are like City of Girls, and I was like, hell yeah. So I went, and any of them that sounded truly intriguing to me, I tagged them as like City of Girls. So if I click that tag, this is those 5 books. So this is essentially that bookshelf, right? Using Goodreads language. And then you can, again, always do the filter thing. You can change this. Super fun. I could see stats for this tag if I care about that, which I don't, but I could. But yeah, so it's the same thing as shelves on Goodreads. It's just called something different. One thing to note is if you go remove a book, let's see if I can find, oh, whoops, that's not what I meant to do. Look at me. I meant to click the tag. See if I can find one that I'm like, actually, I don't think I'm ever going to read that. You know, this one. I don't know if I'm ever going to read this book. So I hover right here, and I can click remove book. And it will remove it from my lists, right? So let's do that. It's saying blah, 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 your reading history in any review will be deleted. Okay. So there we go. It's removed, right? I can remark it as to read if I want. This tag does not automatically delete if you remove a book. So it would still show up in this shelf. So you would have to click here and click here and then update. And this is how you can create a new tag or just add tags to any book. If you click this little guy, and it'll have your drop down right here. But say I want to make a new one, book, I'm just going to test. So I type it out, and then I click it right here, and that makes it. And then I would click update, and it would save. And it's as easy as that. That's how you create a new tag. And I love that these drop downs automatically have did not finish. Oh my God, I love it so very much. If I go to my read books, so we can filter it via whatever, search for one in here, I can do all this, all the same stuff. And then if I click over here to my DNF'd books, it shows me that. When you DNF, you can then add an explanation, and it will automatically put this in if you do it right away. I clearly did, or did I even update this one? This one I barely got into. I might not even have like done a status update on it. I don't think. Okay, here we go. I know I had updated on this one. So if I go here to add explanation for this, it has the how far I got, which actually I hadn't updated fully. I did get 100 pages in. But then it does it to today's date. So if you do it late, you would need to change that. But at any rate, it does save how far you got. So then when you go back, I'll go to one that I did actually fill it out on, this one, and I click See Review. It says right here, did not finish book, stopped at 22%, and then has my little brief explanation. So it always keeps track when you, if you have done a progress update and then you DNF, it keeps track of the most recent progress update and says that that's when you DNF'd it, which I like because I always forget. If you watch any of my videos where I talk about books I DNF, I'm always like, I DNF'd it around, I don't remember. And anytime you mark a book as read, let me go find a rando or one that I haven't reviewed yet or something. Okay, so all I did was I put the star rating. So if I go edit, it'll show you the full thing. So here's those moods again. I can pick as many as I want, what moods I think this book is good for, what I think the pacing of the book is it mainly plot or character driven? And then I could say a mix or NA, strong character development, yes, no, it's complicated, NA, characters lovable, yes, no, complicated, characters diverse, yes, no, complicated, flaws of main character, a main focus, same thing. And then we can do quarter star ratings, of course. Anything else to add? It shows you how to do spoiler text right here. And then to help others find similar books, the main themes, topics, or tropes. And you can do this here. If this isn't publicly visible, it's just part of the like machine learning thing. And then you can also do content warnings. You can choose if it was a graphic content warning. So there's all these ones put in here. So, if it was like really graphic gore, then you could do that. If it was more moderate, you could put it in here. Minor, which would be just like a brief mention or description. So there's that. And then you can add further information about the content of the book as far as content warnings. So if you want to like give a little more of an explanation on something, then you can do that there. Or if maybe there's something that isn't in any of these lists, then you could put it in there. And then you can always also delete your review. Some kind of small thing that I appreciate is the search function. If you misspell, it will still usually pull something up. So let me type in, look at that. I typed in hair of Novron instead of heir of Novron, and it's the first thing that came up. And sometimes the book that will automatically be like shown here, it will be clearly like the audio book, like it's the big square image, or it's just a different cover or whatever. And you can always click Browse Editions here and see the details, and then search down below if there is a different one that you want to use instead. So like if I mark this as to read. So I've marked this one as to read now, right? So now when I see these, it says you want to read another edition of this book. And I could either click this to go to that edition, or I could switch to this edition if I had accidentally like marked to read on the audiobook, for example, or something like that. So just something to note. Well, I think that's pretty much everything I wanted to show. I feel like this was Helter Skelter, but I think the first one I did was Helter Skelter, so it is what it is. I am by no means the StoryGraph expert. Highly recommend going on Twitter and Instagram and following the StoryGraph, their accounts, because they are super responsive and they are always sharing information. They're sharing new features. They often do polls to get community feedback. They are actively listening to the community to see what people want and need, and of course what they are able to provide with the team that they have. And if you ever wanted to join with Plus, I think you just go to your manage account. If I click here, I think this takes me, which I prepaid for it, so I'm fine. But you can always do StoryGraph Plus. So it's saying invest in a Goodreads alternative not owned by Amazon. This will help them to stay independent and ad-free. Good God, I swear that damn ad banner on Goodreads was the bane of my existence. So yeah, not fun. It gives you those advanced stats like I showed. Up next suggestions. Oh yeah, I need to show that. Jeez, Joshana. The Buddy Read book suggestions feature, unlimited recommendations, as many times as you want, advanced similar users, personalized similar books, that one that we showed, shaping the roadmap. You can vote and comment on upcoming features, as well as submit official requests for new ones, and then priority support. Like I mentioned, your support tickets and requests for book information updates are handled first. So I have it activated. Love it. I am going to be doing a giveaway of 1 year of StoryGraph Plus to someone. So someone who comments on this video, just comment with a little unicorn emoji and a little waving emoji in your comment somewhere. If you want to say something else, you can too, but put that in your comment somewhere to notify that you want to be added to the giveaway, and then I will just do one of those random generators and pick a winner. Before I go though, I wanted to show the up next, because that's a newer feature too. This is a mess. I'm so sorry. God, if only I was professional. So search and filter. So up next right here. I believe that this is a feature for everyone. It's the suggestions that are for Plus users, to my understanding. I think anyone can do up next. So if you have your to read, then you can have your up next right here, and you can add several books to it. And if you put one on there and you wanted to take it off, you just click right here, remove this book from up next. And when you scroll down on your to read, that's how you would add it to your up next. I want to say there's a limit disabled because I already have 5 in my up next. So it's 5. Okay. I was going to say, I thought there was a limit. I just couldn't remember what it was. But yeah, it's a pretty neat little feature. If you like to kind of organize your stuff visually of like what you're going to read, then there you go. And then the suggestions. This is pretty cool. Need more of what you just read? We think you'll love this one. Picked this one for you from your StoryGraph recommendations. Here's a random pick. That one is on my TBR. You own this one and it's been on your to read for the longest. Why not give it a try? Listen, I don't need to be attacked like this. Just kidding. How about ticking off a prompt for books to read in 2022? This is a great fit for you. Love that. This book matches the moods and pace in your StoryGraph reader profile perfectly. If it ain't broke. You previously enjoyed this author's work. We reckon you'll love this one too. A user with a taste similar to yours really enjoyed this book. Fun. You were enjoying the series. How about picking up where you left off? You know, I would love to, but, oh, whoops. But that book isn't freaking published yet. This one isn't either. These are both 2022. Well, I don't know about Belle's number 3. We don't know. It's whatever. This edition from your to-read pile has been shelved the most on StoryGraph. Why not see if the hype is real? I need to be in a proper emotional state to read this book. Prefer to do your own thing. This edition on your to-read pile has been shelved the least by other users. This is a random book I picked up in the Philippines when I was there by a Filipino author. So yeah, really cool little up next kind of, it's just another like recommendations, right? So there we have it. That's all. Again, if you are interested in the StoryGraph Plus and those features that I showed you here, leave the little comment down below. In your comment, whatever you do comment, at least make sure to do a unicorn emoji and then a little waving emoji. And then I'll randomly pick a winner and do a little giveaway. Woot woot!
So there we have it. There is a little walkthrough of the StoryGraph. Like I said, I'm not some expert on StoryGraph by any means. There are things I don't know about it, I'm sure. But I have been using it for a hot minute, so just thought I would give my kind of amateur walkthrough. If you ever have any questions about the functionality or you think there's an issue, do the contact us in the lower right. They are very quick to respond via email. They are on it, and it's really nice. And on Twitter, they'll respond pretty quickly too. If you ever have a question or an issue, you want to just tweet at them or DM them, they are very, very responsive. And they're just improving things all the time, adding features based on community feedback all the time, and I just thoroughly love that. They listen to their audience and their users. It's very nice. Like, comment, and subscribe if you have not already and if you feel so inclined. And you can, of course, as per usual, leave a little emoji in the comment section if you don't really have anything to add, but you just want to say hello. Let me know that you're here. As always, thank you so much for your time. Hope you all have a wonderful day, and I will talk to you later. Bye-bye.